Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, creepy friends. Welcome to Nixie Bobs. You can probably see we're still without a bed. I'm hoping that will change come Monday when people come in and fix the floorboard. But I am trying to also find a new bed. That was going to happen Friday just gone, but unfortunately there decided to be 2 road accidents on the way, or before I even got there, so I couldn't go because literally traffic was at a standstill, so I didn't go out. We are here to discuss the episode of Thunderbirds Argo from the Saturday just gone called Clean Sweep. I watched it this morning with more awake eyes. I try not to watch them in the evening when I get back from work, because obviously I get back super late. Because I feel like my mind isn't as switched on then as it could be. It is getting cold. I am not happy about this. I can see dead trees outside my window. I'm not happy about that. Literally, I need to go and live in Hawaii, I think. I think I need to go somewhere warm, somewhere nice, where I could just pop back to England for the summer, for the winter. Because obviously it must be weird in places like Hawaii and LA and anywhere close to the equator that are in the middle of summer in December. It must be seriously weird. I know in Australia they still have photos of Santa with a hat on and a sled. It's like, it's very ironic, but hey ho. For Clean Sweep, let's stop tangenting and have a sip of Dr. Pepper in cool Halloween cups. Look at those. I'm on a real Dr. Pepper fetish right now. I don't know why. Clean Sweep. So you got a pair of cleaners going to fix some kind of scrubber, or clean rather, some kind of scrubber, and they don't listen to the guy in there who could have just helped him out. He's a bit of a stickler for rules. Could have just helped him out by turning it all off early, but decided rule number 1, blah blah blah. They don't listen to him and decide to go in early because they're like, oh, the sensor will stop once we get in there. Of course, the sensor doesn't stop. They get sucked further and further up, and the nice guy called Fred decides he's gonna turn all the communication off. So you got 2 people about to get sliced and diced to death, so we're only gonna call one lot of people. I will say, it's their own fault. They could have just sat there for an hour, you know, had a little drink. I'm sure they've got something in their craft, but no! They decided to go against the rules. Now, Fred is a little bit of an arse anyway, but, you know, kind of created your own problem there, guys. International Rescue should charge them too. This is a Virgil and Scott mission, and I have to say, up until about 2 points, I did spend the whole episode wondering what the hell Virgil was doing there. You'll find out why. So you've got these 2 poor cleaners jammed in a... I thought it was a turbine. It turns out it's a scrubber. I don't know what that is. Jammed into toxic waste. Quite why there's toxic waste up in this thing, I also don't know. It seems very, very strange and not really well explained. They've got oxygen masks on, but basically, eventually, the toxic waste's gonna kill them. So John is trying to get through to this guy, Fred, who's being, again, awkward. He tries to get Penelope to help. She's in Milan, but Parker is not. The first time for everything. Them 2 not together. Huh? He's looking after Sherbet back at home. I'm still not on board with the dog. And he jets off in Fab 1 that can fly to go and try and grab this card off of Fred. And it turns out the 2 of them know each other. Light-fingered Fred. Why? I know Light-fingered Fred. Was he in the original in some way? Does he get mentioned? Because the name, they went in and I went, I know that name! I literally remembered it as soon as it was said. So if that is mentioned, someone message me, someone comment, but I know it's in Thunderbirds chronology somewhere along the line. And also the excitement here is John goes, I'll meet you there. So we're gonna get John on Earth. That's really exciting. So John's coming down to Earth. We're gonna get how he gets down to Earth later because I've got a few little holes there to discuss. I'm quite excited about that because I do love when John comes and assists in a mission. Scott tries to fly Thunderbird 1 up this scrubber, kind of tries to kill Thunderbird 1 in doing it, gets his karma when he realises he can't take it any further, something knocks his jetpack, he nearly gets sliced and diced up in the blades, the fan blades thing, so he kind of gets his comeuppance there a little bit for trying to damage Thunderbird 1. So in the meantime, John is now attaching himself to this scrubber with the elevator thingy that he jets down on Earth. This is like the only second time we've ever seen that used. I think this is probably only the second time we've seen John on Earth since the show began. The other one was where they thought they'd lost Alan that time. So meanwhile, Parker goes and with Sherbet the dog's help manages to get the digi key from Fred, who is just being a dick, quite frankly. The problem is that Parker is now flying up and down trying to get the digikey to John, but Fab 1 shouldn't fly so high, so he keeps nearly hurtling to his death. Thankfully, Virgil finally makes himself useful and saves Parker in Thunderbird 2 by slightly lowering the pod and getting him inside. I'm sure that's the first time we've seen Fab 1 on a Thunderbird craft. I know they do, Parker and Penelope do go to Tracy Island at one point in the original, but I'm sure they don't take Fab 1. So now the scrubber's going even madder. John's struggling to actually stay on top of the thing. Now it's getting more and more dangerous. Scott and the cleaners nearly get sliced and diced for another time. He manages to like tie himself off to 2 different things and hold them in place. Finally get the digikey to John, who turns everything off, but now unfortunately the cleaners and Scott are now hurtling towards their deaths. We've got a role reversal from Parker to Scott and the cleaners. Thankfully this is where good old Thunderbird 1 remote pilot comes in handy, and he manages to get himself first on Thunderbird 1. Save your own life first, why don't you, mate? And then saves the cleaners with another little rope from the bottom of Thunderbird 1 and flies them to safety, along with Parker and Virgil. Virgil does make himself useful a second time by cutting into the scrubber to get the waste for John. I forgot about that. John, meanwhile, just grabs the toxic waste to take it up into space so that it can be disposed of somewhere where people aren't going to get poisoned to death. And he just goes back up on into space, just quite freely. And at the end, thankfully, Fred gets fired from his job. I get the feeling we're not going to have seen the last of Lightfinger Fred somehow. And again, I mentioned this is the first time Penelope and Parker have been separated like this. Apart from when she was doing the Man from MI5, we're going to get onto that actual little title in a minute. He had to go off at Monte Carlo episode where she was playing the damsel to try and lure the robbers to get the codes from like that one, the Man from MI5. We know that one. I think we've done that one. I like that one. Now, John Tracy, I have to say, it didn't occur to me until this episode, he must have the patience of a saint, that guy, because you've got to think he is literally the forefront. Anytime there's a rescue, he is the one that gets contacted. He's then got to deal with all the intricacy and contacting people and getting all this stuff. And Fred is just an absolute pain in the jacksy in this. He must just be Mr. Patient as hell. It's bizarre. I hadn't really considered that until that moment. With regards to John as well, how did he successfully pass through the Earth's atmosphere without even boarding the elevator? He stands on top of it and drops. I mean, all right, we know the elevator can drop down anywhere from TB5 into space, but like, how did he manage to penetrate the Earth's atmosphere as just a human by himself? I didn't think that was scientifically possible. And also, I'm sorry, I'm going to have a tiny dig at John here. When Parker's hurtling towards his death, he shouts, "Parker." It is the most dryly delivered line I've heard on this show since its inception. The guy is almost going to die by falling to his death. Put a bit of feeling in it, man. I just realised that so many points are about John in this, and I think because we're finally getting a bit more of action with John, we're getting more next week. I'm looking forward to that one. I love when John's on the mission and he's working with Virgil and Scott and with Parker, but he doesn't actually physically get to see any of these characters all episode, and then he just jumps on up and goes into space again afterwards. So it's like, oh, hi, let's work together. I'm not going to see you, not going to greet you. I haven't seen you in months physically, seen you on the little Skype chat thing we do, but never mind. See you all later. Bye. I love that. I love that. I love that that can happen. That it's the oddest thing ever, and it does make me kind of appreciate John's lonerism status just that little bit more. And where was Eos? You'd think Eos could have helped in an episode like this and like taken or hacked control of the scrubber. Where was Eos? Again, let's go back to John. I love how he's constantly 24/7 in full riot gear, even though he's alone in a spaceship in outer space when no one can see him. If it was me, you know what I'd do? I'd put on a top that was like kind of formal and international rescuified, and then I'd wear pyjama bottoms and slippers for the rest of the time I was in that spacecraft. I would not even bother. Clearly the suit must have been comfortable, but like seriously, I would not even bother. I would just comfort wear. I would take 20,000 pairs of pyjamas up into space and live on those. It's not like anyone ever sees him below his lower half anyway, and honestly, if you're calling base and you're in like Stingray pyjama bottoms, because we know John watched Stingray at the very start of this series, I don't think his brothers are going to care. They've known him 20 odd years. They know how each other rolls. It was a good enough episode. kind of got a few plot holes here and there with the atmosphere and with this and that and the other. It was very enjoyable, still much more enjoyable than the last half of the series, and I'm still, as I say, much more engrossed in this than I was last half of the series last year. I have flicked ahead, and also I was sitting at work having dinner yesterday and a trailer popped up for next week's one, which, going back to what I mentioned about the MI5, we now got the man from TB5 next week. So John is coming down to attend something with Penelope, and obviously all hell's going to break loose. There's hover bikes, there's the hood, there's John hanging upside down in a tuxedo that looks like it belongs on the one, oh, what was it? I think it's the it must be one of the movie ones. I don't think it's Thunderbirds I'll Go. Maybe it is. No, I think it's the Thunderbirds I'll Go movie, not Thunderbirds 6 one. Where Alan wants to be involved in all these things and he has all these dreams. Was it Elton John who wrote the music for that? I can't remember. I could see who it is in my head, and I don't think it's Elton John. I think it's someone else. Don't hold me to that because I think I'm wrong. But yeah, I can see the suit in my head, and he's got the little bow tie and it just looks all proper, like one of these old-fashioned styles. So I'm really looking forward to that aspect of it, the fact that they bring back the vintage suits. But the episode looks absolutely bonkers. It looks like it's all going down. It was like everything's gonna break down. I just got really, really thrilled watching that. Or maybe they've just released another little trailer, but honestly, it looks like a crazy episode. So next week should be cool, or should I say Saturday should be cool, because it's on in like 3 days. So roll on Saturday. Thanks everyone for being here. Did I miss anything? Was there anything I didn't see? Is Saturday's episode going to be all in one, or is it over the coming weeks? You guys are going to have to let me know. Do let me know. I'd love to have you come and subscribe, but you don't have to. I don't force the issue on anybody. Like, comment, share, subscribe. You can do what you want on my channel. What shall I do for Christmas this year, guys? Makeup wise, I've got a couple of ideas floating in my mind. That's going to be touched upon for anyone makeup interested next week when we do a mini haul makeup video, because seriously, I have bought so much makeup in the last 2 weeks that we're going to have a little chat and I'm going to show you everything. But in terms of what I should do for Thunderbirds, well, we've already done the Thunderbirds Christmas episode last year. I was thinking about doing the Sham Sham because it's involved in snow and alpine settings, but I don't know what to do. You're gonna have to help me here because I don't know. Give me info. Let me know what you'd like me to do, and I will see everyone again for Thunderbirds, makeup, anything I'm doing in the coming weeks leading up. It's getting exciting. Bye everyone.